Mark, he's Gordon Wisdom, and now it starts 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, Gordon, welcome back from the Dominican. There's a lot of things that we talked about before that haven't happened yet, whether it be the climate lockdowns. We dealt with the banning of the incandescent light bulb, henceforth our logo. Just many different things. And we're not saying that it's not going to happen, the lockdowns. We're not saying that it's not going to happen, but it hasn't happened yet. What do you see down the road? What do you see in the near future?
Well, I see four primary issues dominating public discourse right now. COVID has not gone away. It's still percolating, and there's still talk about it. We all know the jabs, they come out with the new one for this XBB.1.5, and it's been authorized in Canada and the US, Europe, all over the world. So that's still out there, but nothing's happening yet. As you say, we're speculating, are we going to see lockdowns again? Are we going to see lockdowns and other mandates? And nothing's happened yet. Then there's the whole climate change debate. And we know that President Biden, through an executive order, just established something called the Climate Corps. I don't know if you've heard about this. And I forget it, several thousand positions where people apply to be part of the Climate Corps. And somehow they're going to fight climate change. I have no idea how it works, what enlisting a Climate Corps will do. Then there's the Ukraine-Russian war, and that's not going away. In Canada, we just had a Ukrainian veteran of the Second World War being given a standing ovation in Canada's parliament when Zelensky came to visit Canada and was in our parliament. And up in the gallery, they pointed out a man who had fought during the Second World War, a Ukrainian citizen. Well, it later was revealed that same individual had fought with the Nazis. He had not only collaborated, but fought in a Nazi division. And there were elements within the Ukrainian military, and there are elements within the Ukrainian military that openly display Nazi symbols and venerate even Adolf Hitler. So that is going on. And then, of course, we have the whole transgender debate going on.
That just doesn't go away. Like I think I sent that to you. I don't tune into and you don't tune into sports either, but I definitely don't tune into NFL. What got me was the robots when they were in the stands. I'm thinking unvaccinated people can't enter the stadium. They had that back in LA. Now they're allowing robots to promote a movie that is, about robots taking on humanity and basically taking them out. The Creator is the name of the movie.
And there's another issue, this whole issue of AI and robotics. And if you listen to someone like Jordan Peterson, he talks about a convergence between those two technologies, artificial intelligence and robotics merging together. Because right now, when you talk about things like ChatGPT, it's a disembodied technology. It's a technology that exists on your cell phone, your laptop, your computer, but it's not mobile. But if you can integrate ChatGPT, artificial intelligence type technology, and put it into a car, into a drone, into any robotic technology, now you have artificial intelligence that is mobile. And what impact will that have going forward? And no doubt it is coming. And then there's another issue that kind of seems to gain in, people start talking about it, it starts being reported on, then it goes away and it comes back and goes away. And I'm talking about this UAP, unidentified aerial or atmospheric phenomenon.
Oh yeah, I've had people here talk to. Oh, did you hear about the Mexican? Yeah.
Yeah, and there have been now congressional hearings in the United States, And there's a new order. I haven't read up too much on it. I've read a few articles on it. There's a lot to go through. But basically, what's happened is they have enacted legislation in the United States which would mandate that the Biden or the government, the Biden administration currently, or whoever is in charge down the road, that within 300 days of information coming to light to government sources, that it would have to be disclosed. So we've heard these stories about these Tic Tac supposed videos where there are these UAPs performing right angle turns, disappearing and then reappearing 60 miles later, disappearing into the ocean. And then, yeah, and then, but this gets reported on, it gets a lot of play, and then it disappears and then it comes back. And at the end of the day, I think the keynote word that we have to highlight is deception. Mm-hmm. Society writ large, we are being deceived on so many different fronts, whether it be on the health front with COVID and the vaccines, whether it be on this gender ideology that promotes this concept that gender is nothing more than a societal construct that's being imposed by an oppressive patriarchal system, and that your gender is whatever you say it is, whatever your subjective reality is, that society has to bend over backwards to accommodate your own subjective reality. You know, and then you look at the war in Ukraine, and everyone should know that the first casualty of war is truth. Mm-hmm. And all sides in conflict engage in disinformation, misinformation, propaganda. Are the Russians lying? Yes, they are. Are the Ukrainians and her allies lying? Yes, they are. They all engage in the game of deception. Yeah. And then, I think we need to look at that in terms of AI and robotics. How much of that which we see and read and stuff that's in on the nightly news or on our news feed, I think it's paramount that people question everything. Take nothing for granted, because deception, we're living in a time of, we're in a fashion at war. It's psychological warfare. And anyone who's read Sun Tzu's Art of War knows that deception is the go-to strategy in war. You deceive. Sun Tzu wrote that when your military force is far away, you want your opponent to think that you are close. When you are close, you want to deceive your military opponent into thinking that you're still a long ways away. And one I'd forgotten, but was just brought to light to me within the last couple of days, is that in a military campaign, in warfare, when you want to make peace, you make it appear as though you want war. And when you want war, that's when you make overtures of peace. So at its core, this is contrarian thinking. Whatever you're told to think, question it, because there's a very strong possibility in my mind that the powers pushing these varying agendas, that that which they is promoting is the polar opposite of what the truth is. There are two genders. There are not limitless genders.
No. And the thing that gets me, and back to that, the NFL thing, is we are the only state that has a trans cheerleader, the Carolina Panthers. I mean, this is, look, you shell out a fortune to go and have your kids go to these games. Kids do not need to be seeing that. And they came out arrogant. This person came out arrogant and said, I liken myself to being a doctor. I don't want to get into it. This person's delusional. This person's, and one thing I did want to ask you, though, with these climate lockdowns not happening yet, and the lockdowns themselves not happening yet, do you think, we spoke out about it, a lot of people spoke out about it. Do you think that played a role in them not ushering this out at the moment?
We'll never know. We'll never know. They're never going to hand us their playbook.
But it
But
doesn't
I
pay to
do.
be silent, you
But
know?
I do. But do I see potential that you and I and countless others pushing back against these agendas, this multi-headed beast that's coming at us? I do believe that is having an impact, and it is forcing those powers that be to react. I saw a recent video of Klaus Schwab and Yuval Noah Harari trying to combat the narrative that people like yourself and myself and countless others that we're putting forward, pushing back against this globalist corporate agenda and this great reset, call it whatever you want. And they were addressing the fact that a lot of people are now anti-globalist. And it was interesting watching, because Klaus Schwab was, he promotes globalism as the manner by which we solve all the world's
Oh yeah.
problems. The WEF, the World Economic Forum, will bring all these global powers together and will solve all the world's problems. And he said it's dangerous now that there are individuals and groups that are going anti-globalist because we're going to solve all the world's problems. No, they're not. They're not going
Not
to
at all.
solve all the world's problems. They're going to make themselves more wealthy, more powerful, more influential, and it will impact, by them becoming more wealthy, powerful, and influential, individual citizens become poorer, their voice gets diminished, and their power gets taken away, to borrow a line from, what was his name, Chris, social media influencer we talked to, who talked about giving up your
Jason
power.
Christoff?
Pardon?
Jason Christoff?
Jason Christoff. I said Christopher. Jason Christoff. He nailed, he hit the nail right on the head with that. We give up so much of our power.